Man, these game developers are truly saving me money this year. A lot of money. And, more importantly, time. A lot of time. They're saving me big time in both areas. Because here's yet another game in the AAA space that just came out. This game just came out today. And it's nothing but a bunch of bullshit. So, if you look at the user reviews on Steam here, you'll see that they're mixed. But why are they mixed? What is the controversy this time? Well, this is Capcom, so I'd imagine that it has something to do with microtransactions. And as it turns out, it has something to do with microtransactions. So the reason a lot of people are down on this game and sour on it is because Capcom has implemented all of these microtransactions into the game, which they waited until the game's release day to upload to the site here. And I'd imagine it's the same on console. And basically the game has become pay to win. But it's a very different case with Dragon's Dogma 2, because now you have to pay for things that you would expect to just be in the game available for free. If you want to edit your character, you gotta buy the Art of Metamorphosis. It's like, it's a bad joke. It's a bad joke that no matter how many different ways you tell it, it's still bad. They got this port crystal for fast travel, because even though you can fast travel in the game without it, from what I've read, Capcom has made fast travel in this game unreasonably difficult. And the reviews pointed this out. The reviews highlighted this. The mixed reviews anyway, from the critic reviews. And I'm going to get to that. To fast travel in Dragon's Dogma 2, you need some kind of item, some kind of special item, which I think it is called a fairy stone in this game. But if you don't go through this microtransaction option to obtain it, getting it in the game is rather difficult because it's a rare item. There's not too many of them that you can get in the game, from what I've read, and they're expensive. You know, this is an open world game, and Capcom doesn't have any mounts, so you have to walk everywhere, from what I was reading, which is crazy. Imagine playing any modern open world game and you don't have a mount at all. And you could bring up the whole list of open world games that have been released for over the past decade, and pretty much all of them have mounts. So let's take a look at some of the more negative reviews here. Because it's not just a thing of, oh, the game has mixed reviews. It's a thing of, the game has currently, as I'm recording this, there's 14,000 reviews that have been uploaded. 5,000 of them are positive, and more than 8,000 are negative. So the game has more negative reviews than it does positive. But it goes beyond the microtransactions. It goes way beyond that. The problem with this game. The reviews highlighted this as well. They were saying that the performance on console was terrible. And I pretty much assumed that, the case was going to be the same with the PC version. And that's another reason why I held off on buying this. I have not bought this game. I had a little bit of interest in it, but considering I'd never played the first game, I didn't really have much interest in it to begin with. People on here are saying things like you can't delete your save data or start a new game if you mess up your character during character creation. Like they have limited save slots. IGN just uploaded an article about this. You only have one save slot in this game. You have 3 different types of saves. You can save manually in the menu. You have auto saves, and then the game saves when you go to ends and you rest that in end. The problem though with this system is that if you reach a point in the game where you encounter like a high level enemy and you can't get past them, the game just haphazardly auto saves. Then every time you load the game, when you die, you're going to be stuck at that part, and you can't just load a different save file. Imagine some bullshit system like that in like a Mass Effect game or something of that nature, or a Final Fantasy game where you only had one save slot. It baffles me that Capcom could be this stupid to release some bullshit like this, especially given the winning streak they've been on. That's why I'm saying you cannot pre-order anything these days. You can't have hype for anything these days. These companies will mess up. It's not a matter of if they mess up, it's a matter of when they mess up and how badly they mess up. This person is saying that their character got stuck in the floor. They couldn't reload the game because it autosaved. They couldn't delete the character and make a new one without, starting a new game. So they had to go into the game files to delete the game save. But if you do that with this game, the cloud save will still overwrite the new save. To fix Capcom's mess, this person disabled cloud storage. Like, you shouldn't have to fucking do that. This game costs how much? $70. They want $70 for one save slot, a bunch of microtransactions, which includes microtransactions for simple shit like editing your character or making fast travel easier. It's ridiculous with these critic reviews because a number of them highlighted the issues that this game has, but then they tried to spin it and say, oh, it's a good thing that you can't just fast travel whenever you want in the game. It makes it more engaging to play. It's a good thing that there's no on-screen markers when you're doing side quests in the game. It makes it more engaging. It's like, no, it just makes it so the game's wasting your fucking time. And like I said, the problem goes way beyond the microtransactions. This game has some structural problems based on design choices, very key specific design choices, that makes the game not worth the asking price. Such as the bullshit fast travel system in the game, and the way they've handled the character editor. But it goes way beyond that. Some of the reviews have highlighted the fact that the game doesn't really have much of a narrative. After you start the game, there's hardly any story throughout the entire thing. Like, the game deviates from the main story to the point where you forget that it's even there. That was highlighted in some of the reviews. We have some real critic reviews, like from Metro Game Central right here, that say that the game is disappointingly similar to the 2012 original. IGN said the same thing. They gave the game an 8. They said it's more of a redo than a sequel. And then if you look at IGN from different countries, they're saying something different than the American version of the company. IGN France said this sequel is more in line with a remake, tarnished by a format outdated by today's standards. I mean, that's some strong language right there. This is another issue highlighted by digital trends with the save system. This reviewer said at times he was forced into frustrating loops because he respawned in the middle of an enemy encounter and immediately took damage. This person also mentioned the system where when you die, you lose health. Like, there's a loss gauge. So every time you respawn, you have less health because of the loss gauge. And he referred to the game as a discount Souls-like. I don't know about anyone else, but I don't want to play no discount Souls-like bullshit. This person also mentioned that the combat isn't fluid or smooth. And we know the combat isn't fluid or smooth based on actual gameplay footage. None of this looks fun. It looks like a discount Monster Hunter game. And IGN in their review mentioned that some of the developers from the Monster Hunter series also worked on this game. I can only speak for myself, but I personally am not a fan of Monster Hunter because of how clunky and slow the gameplay is. It's not my kind of game. And seeing this game drawing inspiration from that, and then seeing the terrible camera right here, this isn't worth $70. Not to me, it's not. And all of this, and the game's director is Hideki Itsuno, whose last game was Devil May Cry 5, which was fantastic. That's one of the best games Capcom has released in recent years. And then he goes on to release some bullshit like Dragon's Dogma 2. A game that currently has way more negative reviews than it does positive. Let's see what IGN France has to say about Dragon's Dogma 2. Souls-like players won't be lost in the face of Dogma's proposal. You need to understand the patterns of your enemies to know when and how best to react so that your attacks are as effective as possible. So it sounds like they made a Souls-like game that's not actually a Souls-like game for the hardcore audience, which would explain other things that's wrong with the game, such as the extremely limited fast travel system, the terrible save system, the clunky combat mechanics. They're saying that the pawns or your created NPC companions are stupid and unpredictable at times. It is undeniable that Dragon's Dogma 2 is more of a reboot and/or remake than a real sequel. Players will see the plot of this sequel as a rehash of the old. I mean, where's the positive? Why did this game get all of these glowing reviews from these moronic gaming journalists? But we have a few that are actually willing to give the game, I guess, more of a deserving score. But if you ask me, from what I've been reading, they didn't go low enough. This is just on PlayStation 5. Let's look at some of the PC reviews. 90s, mid to high 8s. Here we have another IGN from Dutchland, who gave the game a 70. Let's see what they're saying about it. There are often unmotivating side quests, which mainly consist of kill, slap, and babbling missions. For long stretches, the plot feels like a means to an end. You'll be playing Dragon's Dogma 2 more for the action and less because you need to know what's going to happen next in the story. This also applies to most side missions. Kill this, collect that. There's no quest marker here, as I mentioned earlier. A number of the reviews were commenting on that. To make the mission more exciting, it is provided with a timer. Oh great, we have timed quests in the game. There are quests in the game that you should solve as soon as possible, otherwise they will fail. Like, why, dude? Why? It's cool, it's extra challenging, but it can be annoying if you're the kind of player who despises such mechanics. I think most players despise such mechanics, including myself. As you explore the open game world, you will be attacked by enemies every few meters. Defeated enemies also never stay dead for long, but respawn relatively quickly. I don't know, it sounds pretty annoying to me. Smaller monsters get boring even faster because the game just doesn't feel like there is any variety of enemies at all. Our test for the PC version regularly had quite dramatic drops in performance. In hectic moments, the frame rate dropped to less than 30 FPS. Now, see, the people that went out and blindly bought this game, day one, how much time and pain would they have saved themselves if they had just went on the internet and just read some of these reviews? Time, pain, and money they could have saved themselves. The game plays pretty much the same as its predecessor. The story is rather sluggish, many side missions are very generic, the minions have no personality and are often annoying with their endless chatter. As an RPG game, that's all she wrote right there. A deluge of trash mobs, restrictive fast travel, and endemic hardware issues. I really don't need to read anything else. Capcom fucked this game up. They've made their bed, now they gotta lie in it. I'm not buying it. I'm not wasting my money on it. I don't blame anyone else for choosing to do the same. What's going on in the video game industry right now is very, very sad. This is a very, very weak year for gaming. I said it before 2024 started. I'm still saying it now. Another open world game that just came out today is Rise of the Ronin, a PlayStation 5 exclusive. And that's gotten an even lower Metascore. And I can only imagine what the issues are with this. Oh man, those scores. Those scores, man. Yeah, that's a whole different topic right there. That's a whole different topic right there. It's sad. I'd rather spend my money on a game I already have just for the PC version with Horizon Forbidden West than waste my time with any of these actual new games coming out on the market. And I wasn't in love with Horizon Forbidden West. I felt that game had quite a few issues, but in the end I felt it was still a good game. I'd rather spend my money on this than Rise of the Ronin with its terrible developer and all of these mediocre reviews, or Dragon's Dogma 2 with its host of issues. Sad state of the industry right now. And I'd imagine Stellar Blade, it's going to be the same case when that game comes out next month. Unbelievable. It's unbelievable that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is the only game right now that's gotten overwhelming critical praise. And just judging from the demo I played, among other things, that game is far from deserving a Game of the Year nomination. That's how bad 2024 is right now when it comes to video games. This hobby is going down the drain.